Welcome back, y'all. The wait is finally over. It's time to reveal my top 20 TV shows of the year 1995. All these shows are on my list are turning 30 years old this year. As a matter of fact, we have a few of them that's already 30. But all of them shows are on my list are turning 30 years old. They all premiered on this in the year 1995. So I'm not going to waste any more time. Let's just get right into the list. My top 20 TV shows of 1995. Number 20, Cartoon Planet. Cartoon Planet is an animated variety show and a spin-off to Space Ghost Coast to Coast. It premiered on Yusuke Knight's third birthday, July 5th of 1995. A year later, it moved to Cartoon Network and continued until February 4th, 1998. Years later, Cartoon Network brought it back, and it ran from March 30th, 2012 to March 1st, 2014. The 90s version of Cartoon Planet had Space Ghost, Zorak, and Brak where they would sing songs, do funny jokes, and it would showcase Hanna-Barbera cartoons from the 60s like the Flintstones, the Jetsons, and Scooby-Doo. In the 2012 version of Cartoon Planet, it was a Friday night block and later Saturday and Sunday morning block hosted by Brak and Zorak, and they would show reruns of the old Cartoon Network shows. And of course, they would air shows that are not originals of Cartoon Network or that are not classics, like Robotomy, Secret Mountain 4 Awesome, Tom and Jerry Tales, Almost Naked Animals, Annoying Orange, etc. The original version of Cartoon Planet will return on Checkered Pass on Adult Swim 2 weeks from Friday, February 28th. But I just can't wait for the 30th anniversary this summer on Yusuke Knight's birthday. It premiered 2 days after D'Angelo released his debut album Brown Sugar. But regardless, I'm glad I put Cartoon Planet on this list. Even though it premiered on TBS, I look up to it more as a Cartoon Network show. So Cartoon Planet is my number 20. Number 19, Muscle. One of the WB's first 4 original shows when the channel first launched on January 11th. The show took place in a fictional survival gym in New York City. And it was also a parody of Fox's 90s soap opera show, Melrose Place. Like I said, it was one of the WB's first 4 original shows, along with The Wayans Bros, The Parenthood, and Unhappily Ever After. Muscle was the only show that did not survive after its first season and was canceled due to low ratings, and the first original show on the WB to be canceled. The show ended with all the characters being shot and killed off after the show was canceled. Damn. I wish another network would have picked the show up after the WB canceled it. I would have loved to put the show in my top 10, but because it only ran for 13 episodes, I can't put it any higher than 19. But it was still a good show, though. Number 18, The Maxx. The Maxx is based on the comic book of the same name created by Sam Keith. The show ran for 13 episodes on MTV from April 8th to June 19th of 1995. And at least the show got released on DVD. I believe The Maxx, Beavis and Butthead, and Daria are the only MTV 90s cartoons that came out with a DVD. Celebrity Deathmatch needs to come out with a DVD. And Aeon Flux, and The Head, and The Brothers Grunt, and MTV Downtown. They all need to come out on DVD. But just like Muscle, I can't put The Maxx any higher than 18 since it only ran for 13 episodes. But it's still one of the best. It's definitely a top 10 MTV cartoon of the 90s. Number 17, The What a Cartoon Show. This is where it all began. The What a Cartoon Show introduced us to pilot episodes of future Cartoon Network shows such as Dexter's Laboratory, Johnny Bravo, Cow and Chicken, The Powerpuff Girls, and Courage the Cowardly Dog, and they all became successful Cartoon Network originals. They even had a pilot episode of Family Guy on the What a Cartoon Show called Larry and Steve, before it became Family Guy. Next Thursday and Friday, Checkered Past will air the What a Cartoon Show to celebrate its 30th anniversary. And the 30th anniversary of the show is next Thursday, February 20th. And the Cartoon Show will air that same week, February 17th to the 19th. Then they'll air the What a Cartoon Show February 20th and the 21st. And the theme song still slaps 30 years later. I cannot wait till What a Cartoon's 30th anniversary next week. Number 16, Little Bear. This show is based on the book of the same name illustrated by Maurice Sendak. It premiered on CBC television in Canada on October 7th of 1995, a month later before it premiered on Nickelodeon, part of the Nick Jr., with the last episode airing on June 1st, 2001. The show also aired on Saturday mornings on CBS from September 15th, 2000 to September 15, 2001. And a direct-to-video movie was released in 2001 titled The Little Bear Movie. The Little Bear is definitely one of my favorite shows that premiered on Nick Jr. on Nickelodeon. I definitely enjoyed it. So I'm happy that I have it on this list. Number 15, Road Rules. Of course, I had to put Road Rules on this list. Definitely. The second reality show on MTV after The Real World. And like I said before, I like Road Rules better than The Real World, in my honest opinion. The show ran for 14 seasons and 220 episodes. It ran from July 19, 1995 to May 9, 2007. It follows 5 to 6 strangers between ages 18 and 24 stripped of their money and restricted to a life in an RV, traveling from location to location. It was nominated for an Emmy Award in 2001. Mary Ellis Boonem was one of the creators of the show. But after she died from cancer in 2004, The Real World was put on hiatus. Yeah, the show was on hiatus for 3 years until it returned in 2007. But like I said, I like the Real World Road Rules better than The Real World. So I can't wait for the 30th anniversary this summer. Number 14, Star Trek Voyager. Star Trek Voyager was UPN's first original show when the channel first launched on January 16th. Wow. The show ran from January 16, 1995 to May 23, 2001. Ran for 7 seasons with 172 episodes. Wow. UPN's first original show. Then they came up with other shows such as Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Star Trek Enterprise too. But yeah, Star Trek, it was definitely one of the best shows to ever exist on UPN. UPN's first original show. I can't believe it's been 30 years since UPN and Star Trek Voyager premiered. Number 13, Goosebumps. Of course, we all know this show. Hold on a second. Goosebumps is, of course, based on the book of the same name, illustrated by R.L. Stine. This show premiered on. It premiered in It aired on YTV in Canada, and of course here in the United States on Fox Kids, from October 27, 1995 to November 16th of 1998. 4 seasons and 74 episodes. This show right here used to scare the hell out of me when I was a kid. I enjoyed watching the TV show and reading the book. Have you guys read the book of Goosebumps back in the day? I know you guys have. Wow. Goosebumps was definitely one of my favorite shows on Fox Kids. Definitely. I can't wait for the 30th anniversary this fall. And it premiered 4 days before Halloween. That's incredible. These next 4 shows, numbers 12 through 9, are 4 out of 5 of Kids WB's first first 5 original shows. Starting at number 12, The Sylvester and Tweety Mysteries. I believe Sylvester and Tweety were the second Looney Tunes characters to have their own spin-off show after Bugs and Daffy. It premiered on Kids WB along with Pinky and the Brain, Freakazoid, and Earthworm Jim, and Animaniacs after airing 2 seasons on Fox Kids from September 9th, 1995 to February 5th, 2000. The show would not end until December 18, 2002 on Cartoon Network. So the show ran for 5 seasons and 52 episodes. Sylvester and Tweety Mysteries is definitely one of my favorites on Kids WB. Definitely. The first 4 seasons aired on Kids WB, and of course, the last season aired on Cartoon Network. Matter of fact, the first few episodes aired on Kids WB, and then the last few aired on Cartoon Network. It was nominated for a Daytime Emmy Award, and it won 2 Emmy Awards for June Foray doing the voice of Granny. Rest in peace. The Sylvester and Tweety Mysteries, one of the best shows to ever exist on Kids WB. Same with this next show, number 11, Earthworm Jim. The show is based on the video game of the same name. It ran for 2 seasons on Kids WB from September 9, 1995 to December 13, 1996. So there was a video game of Earthworm Jim before the TV show. That's what it says. It's based on the video game of the same name. The video game was released in October of 1994 for the Sega Genesis and the Super Nintendo. The Sega CD, the Game Boy, the Game Gear. Wow. That's amazing that they came up with a video game, Earthworm Jim, before they made the TV show. Dan Castellaneta, who does the voice of Homer Simpson, Krusty the Clown, and other characters on The Simpsons, he did the voice of Earthworm Jim. Definitely love that show. Now it's time for my top 10 TV shows of 1995. Starting with this show that also premiered on Kids WB the same day the block first launched. Number 10, Freakazoid, my favorite Kids WB show of the 90s. The show ran for 2 seasons on Kids WB as well, from September 9th, 1995 to June 1st, 1997. The show was canceled, of course, due to low ratings. The show was picked up by Cartoon Network and it ran on Cartoon Network from my sister's birthday, April 5th, 1997 to March 31st, 2003. The show is currently airing on MeTV Tunes. In fact, I haven't watched it on MeTV Tunes since Christmas Eve, but I'm sure it's still on the schedule. And the theme song still slaps 30 years later. David Kaufman, before he did the voice of Danny Phantom, he did the voice of Dexter Douglas on the show. And of course, the legend himself, Paul Rugg, did the voice of Freakazoid. But Freakazoid is my favorite Kids WB show of the 90s. Number 9, Pinky and the Brain. Of course, we know this was a spinoff to Animaniacs where 2 genius mouses tried to take over the world. This show ran just like Animaniacs did during its run on Kids WB. From September 9th, 1995 to November 14th, 1998. They also had a show called Pinky, Elmira, and the Brain. Of course, one is the genius and the other is insane. Shout out to Rob Paulson and Maurice LaMarche, who did the voices of Pinky and the Brain. Love that show, Pinky and the Brain. I'm going to give y'all a hint on which one of these shows is my number 8. Hakuna Matata. What a wonderful phrase. Yep, Timon and Pumbaa is my number 8. I say it was a great idea for them to let Timon and Pumbaa come out with their own spinoff, since they are my favorite characters in The Lion King. So that's good. I'm glad they decided to let Timon and Pumbaa have their own show. Let me see. Okay, here we go. The show ran on CBS for 3 seasons and 85 episodes. Well, the first 2 aired in syndication and then it aired on CBS from September 8th. Damn, it premiered the day before Kids WB launched. Friday, September 8th, 1995 to September 24th, 1999. The first two seasons aired in syndication and on CBS, and then the third season aired on Toon Disney. Of course, Ernie, Sabella, and Nathan Lane reprised their roles as Timon and Pumbaa. The show is currently available to stream on Disney Plus. So what y'all think? Y'all thought it was a good idea to let Timon and Pumbaa have their own spinoff? I believe so. Because they were the funniest characters on The Lion King. So it was a good idea for them to let them have their own spinoff. Okay, let's go to number 7. Number 7, The Drew Carey Show. This show was set in Cleveland, Ohio, that surround the retail office and home life of Drew Carey, playing a fictional version of himself. This show ran for 9 seasons and 233 episodes, from September 13th, 1995 to September 8th, 2004. Another show that's turning 30 years old in September, besides Timon and Pumbaa, Pinky and the Brain, Freakazoid, Earthworm Jim, and the Sylvester and Tweety Mysteries, this is another show that's turning 30 years old in September. Of course, the show aired in syndication in reruns such as on Fox, UPN, and the WB. Reruns also aired on TBS and ION television. Since last December, the show was released on Pluto TV. Yeah, but the Drew Carey Show is one of my favorite sitcoms of the 90s. And it aired on ABC, by the way. This show and Home Improvement is two of my favorite ABC shows of the 90s, as well as Sister Sister and Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Number 6, Mad TV. One of the best sketch comedy shows of all time. One of the best sketch comedy shows on Fox, after In Living Color. This show premiered 3 days after Beanie Jean 94's first birthday, October 14, 1995 to May 16, 2009, and ran for 14 seasons and 321 episodes. A 20th anniversary reunion special aired on the CW on January 12, 2016. The CW also rebooted the show for a 15th and final season, which premiered on July 26. This show right here is one of my favorite sketch comedy shows of the 90s and one of my favorites to ever exist on Fox, next to In Living Color. Orlando Jones was on Mad TV. I know Phil Lamar was on Mad TV. Nicole Sullivan was on Mad TV. Deborah Wilson was on Mad TV. Before she did the voice of Lois on Family Guy, Alex Borstein was on Mad TV from seasons 3 through 7. Ari Spears was on Mad TV. Will Sasso was on Mad TV. And he was also on the February 7, 2002 edition of SmackDown, where he was acting like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Michael McDonald was on Mad TV. Lisa Kushel was on Mad TV. Taran Killam was on Mad TV before he was on Nick Cannon's Wildin' Out. Jordan Peele was on Mad TV. So a lot of great cast members that we had on Mad TV. But yeah, I can't wait till Mad TV's 30th anniversary this October. Now it's time for my top 5 shows of 1995. Number 5, WCW Monday Nitro. If the WWE didn't buy WCW in 2001, the show would still be on the air 30 years later, and I would have put this show at number 1. But at least it's in my top 5. This was also the beginning of the Monday Night Wars between WCW Monday Nitro and WWF Raw's War. Monday Nitro ran from Labor Day 1995, September 4th, until March 26, 2001, when the WWE bought WCW. During WCW Monday Nitro's run, it also came out with several video games. Matter of fact, before WCW was bought, they was going to make another WCW game, but instead it became Def Jam Vendetta. During the first few years of the Monday Night Wars, Monday Nitro was kicking Raw's ass in the ratings until they came up with the Attitude Era and Raw was open up a can of whoop ass on Nitro. It's like any typical Monday. You wake up, you go to school until 3, and if you have practice, you stay there until 5 or 6. Then you come home, do your homework. Then when that clock hits 7, you turn on the TNT and watch Monday Nitro. Then when the clock hits 8, you turn to Raw's War on USA. Which show did you enjoy watching the most, Monday Nitro or Raw's War? I say both for me. I didn't have a favorite on which one is my favorite. I watch both. I flip the channels back and forth to the USA, to TNT. Whenever one show would go on commercial break, I turn the channel to the other show. I definitely miss those Monday nights. Those Monday nights will never be the same again. Those were the days of the Monday Night Wars. But yeah, Monday Nitro is in my top 5 shows of 1995. Number 4, Unhappily Ever After. Another one of the WB's first 4 original shows when the channel first launched. This show, of course, was a parody of Married with Children. And the theme song still slaps 30 years later. Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more. The show ran for 5 seasons and 100 episodes from January 11th, 1995 to May 23rd, 1999. The first season had 13 episodes, and then the last 4 had 21 or 22. Ray Charles performed the Unhappily Ever After theme song. But yeah, this show right here, it deserved to be in my top 5 because it was one of the WB's first 4 original shows. Number 3, In the House. Who remember that show, In the House? In the House is definitely one of the best black sitcoms of the 90s. This show was basically about Marion Hill, a retired football player played by LL Cool J. Because of his financial predicament, he was forced to rent out most of the rooms in his house to newly divorced mother Jackie Warren and her 2 children, Austin and Tiffany. The first 2 seasons aired on NBC, and then seasons 3 and 4 aired on UPN, and then the last season aired as syndication from April 10th, 1995 to August 11, 1999. 5 seasons and 76 episodes. The show stars LL Cool J, Maya Campbell, Debbie Allen, Jeffrey Wood, Kim Wayans, and Alfonso Ribeiro. Alfonso Ribeiro reprised his role as Carlton in one episode, Then for the rest of the series, he played a different character, Dr. Maxwell Staton. And I do remember after an episode of In the House aired, they played the premiere of LL Cool J's Phenomenon music video on UPN. But I have to put In the House definitely in my top three because, I mean, it stars LL Cool J. What do you expect? Of course, Jeffrey Wood and Debbie Allen left the show after season 2, and they were replaced by Kim Wayans and Alfonso Ribeiro. But other than that, In the House is still a good show. And the theme song to seasons 3 through 5 are better than the theme song from the first 2 seasons, in my honest opinion. Number 2, The Parenthood. Another one of the WB's first 4 original shows. This show is basically about former New York college professor Robert Peterson and his wife Jerry sharing their Manhattan brownstone apartment with 4 kids aged 3 through 15. This show premiered a week after the WB first launched, January 18th of 1995, and ran until July 25th of 1999. 5 seasons and 90 episodes. Also, one of the cast members left after season 3 and he was never mentioned again. I forgot who it was. Oh, Kenny Blank. That's the one who left. Oh yeah, Kenny Blank. He's the one that left the show after season 3 and he was never mentioned again. Rest in peace to Suzanne Douglas, who played Jerry. Shout out to Robert Townsend. He did a good job creating and starring in this show. Faison Love, who played Big Worm, he played Wendell Wilcox on the show in seasons 2 through 4. But yeah, The Parenthood is definitely one of the best black sitcoms of the 90s. And I think you know which show from 1995 is my number 1. We're brothers. We're happy and we're singing and we're colored. Give me a high five. All right, cut and print. Beautiful guys. Dynamite. Yep. The Wayans Bros is my number 1 show of 1995. This show right here